National Director of Priests for Life, Frank Pavone, is closely following this developing story, issuing the following statement. The idea that the FBI is using Catholic parishes and dioceses to continue to weaponize its power against patriotic believers is indeed disturbing, but not at all surprising. It's completely consistent, first of all, with the behavior and attitudes of the current Democrat Party leadership, which has no regard at all for freedom, faith, or America. It despises the people and wants power for itself, not them. And joining me now with more is the National Director of Priests for Life, Frank Pavone. Excuse me, I got a little tongue-tied there. Frank, thank you so much for joining us today. It's so wonderful to have you.
Hi, Allison. It's great to be with you. Thanks for covering this story.
Of course, I'm happy to do it. I mean, it needs to be done because this is just an absolute abomination for the FBI to be using undercover tactics to monitor religious groups. Frank, why do you think this is happening?
Well, first of all, this is a symptom of what has become now the most dangerous time in America for our freedoms since the Civil War. There's no question. And people have to understand the Democrat Party has become Marxist. Of course, we're not talking about the good Democrats across America, many of whom are friends and colleagues of ours. No, we're talking about the party leadership. It has become Marxist, and we've got to treat it as such. So number one is that framework. Number two is we've seen so many examples of this recently, the ridiculous actions being taken against President Trump that turned the presumption of innocence on its head. Nancy Pelosi's slip-up, I think, was again symptomatic of this. Oh, well, he can prove his innocence. None of us have to prove our innocence about anything. And so we've got a framework here setting all this up, which is why I said in my statement, this is not surprising, even though it's disturbing. Now, the other element of this is, okay, we know that religious faith is targeted. We know our pro-life movement is targeted. As a full-time pro-life leader, I see that every day. But I think that the point of concern here that may be getting lost in this story is that if you carefully read that leaked FBI memo, it's talking about cooperation with clergy and diocesan officials. So this is not only an attack on or a targeting of the churches, this is a collaboration with some of the church leaders. So it's FBI plus certain church leaders, i.e. some bishops, some diocesan officials, against us. Now, it's not that the FBI is concerned about theology. They don't care about the Mass being offered in Latin or in English. That's not the point, any more than the point is a sincere concern about racism. Here's what they're concerned about. Catholics and other believers who take their faith and apply it to elections and apply it to public policy. And they should be afraid of that from a Democrat point of view, because when we take our faith and apply it to public policy, the agenda of the Democrats would be over.
Wow, that is a lot to take in, and I think you're right. I mean, it goes so deep, and I don't think people really understand the minor details that lie beneath this story here. Frank, would you say that this should concern everyone? I mean, regardless of where you stand and what your religious affiliation is, I mean, if we allow this to continue, I don't think we have a country anymore. What do you think?
No, that's exactly right. And so it's not a matter so much of Catholicism. It's a matter of any believer who takes their faith into the public arena. My work in the pro-life movement, my work in the MAGA movement brings me into contact daily with Christians of every denomination. And frankly, I have more in common with some of these evangelical allies that I work with than I have with some Catholic priests. And you know, Allison, let's be real here. There's a reason why you're introducing me as Frank Pavone rather than as Father Frank Pavone, which I've been known as for over 34 years. Because of this very phenomenon. There are some within church leadership who are more Democrat than they are Catholic.
For all our